you'll be dead to me.
What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again. If you think John looks particularly unwell, that's because he is. He's contracted the norovirus, not corona. He's shitting himself for England. It's hilarious. How are you, John?
On the verge of pooing my pants. And it's not because of the virus, it's because you make me nervous, Michael. It's the nervous shit I've got when I'm on video with you.
It's only natural, mate. It's like being in royalty, isn't it? So, Anyway, a few things today. So, firstly, Carlo Ancelotti's paid his fine and will be on the touchline for Chelsea. That's good news, yeah?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been such a bad thing if Duncan was there because he's done really well when he come in. So, you know, if he wasn't on the touchline, I don't think it would have made that much difference. But, you know, it is good to have him on the touchline. Apparently, the seats in the stands are not far away from Chelsea, close to the dugout. So it wouldn't have been such a massive difference, but it will be good to have him on the touchline.
Yeah, agreed. And obviously, the rumours are that not only Mason Holgate signed a new deal, was it yesterday or the day before, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin's due to sign a 5-year deal in the next few days. Great news, that is.
Do you know what? I was thinking about this, and it's quite funny because I say this a few times. I've been one of Calvert-Lewin's biggest critics in the past also. Holgate, to be fair. And more so, that was under the Marco Silva days, you know, and since Duncan's come in and had the couple of games and, you know, Ancelotti's come in, them two players are right up there with the most improved players in the Everton squad at the minute. So it just shows what a manager can do from me thinking they're not good enough for Everton Football Club to one of them signing a new contract and the other one being on the verge of signing a 5-year contract. So obviously, you know, I've ate humble pie. And obviously there was a talent in there. And it just seems now that Duncan and Carlo have got the best out of these players, which they've been awarded.
Agreed. And I think both players would get into the England squad.
Yeah, there's no reason why not. If you look at the stats that we've more or less done this video for, you know, it's not really citing individual players, it's citing the team. But, you know, some of the stats are related to the shots on target, the goals scored from corners, which obviously include Calvert-Lewin. He's massively improved under Carlo. So obviously, as I say, there's a talent there. And going back to what you said about England, you know, Harry Kane probably won't make the squad. And if Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets picked for the up-and-coming qualifiers and friendlies that we've got coming up, I think he's got them on merit, his call-up on merit.
Agreed. Okay, so John, obviously some stats have come out regarding Everton, regarding Carlo Ancelotti being there. These games don't seem to take into account Duncan Ferguson's, which I thought was a bit harsh. But Carlo Ancelotti's officially been Everton boss now for 9 games. In that time, Everton have scored 16 goals, which is the 3rd highest in the Premier League. What does that say about his improvements?
I think what he's changed is the way the team plays offensively. You know, he's and I've said this to you a few times, he hasn't changed much. You know, and I think, well, you said today, it's not fantastic football to watch. It's football that does the job, you know, and he's playing players in proper positions. That's all he's really changed, you know. He's put a bit of mentality in. He's putting players in their proper positions. The players know their own job. The offensive players are more confident. They know where to find their teammates. And I think these stats that you've got come from that.
Yeah, I agree. Total attempts, 135. That puts us 4th in the Premier League since he's been in attempts. So to me, it's just proving the fact that Everton are stopping, you know, they're stopping to just pass the ball into net. They're trying to stop making the perfect goal. And they're just hitting it. They're just getting the ball in dangerous areas and hitting it. And that is what we've been screaming for ages. Instead of tip-tapping around the box, it goes out wide, it wastes time, just hitting the goal early and quickly, and that's been a significant improvement under Carlo. And on top of that, to go with that, shots on target. So clearly, I think Ferguson or whoever's working with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, working with Richarlison, and really, really, really strengthening our attacking line.
Yeah, I think there's 3 words that spring to mind with what you've just said there, and we've all heard it mentioned in football, and it's shoot on sight. Now, we've had managers in the past, as you say, we've tried to walk the ball in, and the moves broke down. Now, the first chance our attacking players are getting, i.e. your Bernards, your Richarlisons, your Moise Keanes, your Calvert-Lewins, even your Theo Walcotts, when they get the ball now, all they think about is going forward and having a shot if the pass isn't on, which, you know yourself, if you have a shot and it doesn't go in, more often than not, the keeper will make a save, could push it out, could put it out for a corner, so you get more corners from it. And I think the corners are in the stats as well.
Yeah, and I think one of the important points is, and it's not actually a stat, but whenever the ball is in and around the box, there seems to be Everton players in numbers challenging, trying to get that ball back high up the pitch. Now, we've always done that, but actually we do it more efficiently now. We do it more clever. We don't just all get sucked into the same ball and the ball gets played around us and we get hurt in defence. So that's been a significant improvement for me. The midfield, they seem to just be doing their job. Schneiderlin was testament to that before he got injured, unfortunately. He was testament to that. So you're spot on. In terms of corners, John, Everton have had 219 in 9 games, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can't actually see how that's right, to be honest, because how can you have 219 corners in 9 games? We don't have 20 a game.
Well, there could be somewhere we have 25, listen, if it's right, it's phenomenal. But what I will say is, if it's not right, we still, we all know we still get more corners now than what we have in the past. Let's just say.
Yeah. In terms of headed attempts, we're first with 29. So we've had 29 attempts from corners or crosses, which is phenomenal. And more precisely to that, successful crosses accounting at 59. So it's saying that when we're delivering the ball, we're second in the league for sticking it on an Everton player's head.
Yeah. And, if we look at the past again, under previous managers, our corners were shocking. Absolutely shocking.
Couldn't beat the first man.
Couldn't beat the first man. Now, 8 out of 10 of our corners end up near the penalty spot or on the edge of the 6-yard line. So obviously, you've got the opposition's keepers coming out for it. You've got the defenders clearing it when they can, which just proves to me we're putting it in the right position, and we didn't used to do that. Do you know what I mean? So obviously also as well, the corner count is also coming from the offensive play that we're doing, and it's just completely different how, and I keep saying this, it's the same squad Marco Silva had, and it's just, it beggars belief how Ancelotti hasn't changed that much, on the training pitch, in the setup of the game, the team or what have you. It's down to individual players, what he's given them players. And, compared to Silva or what you want to have, Koeman or what have you, it's Ancelotti. It's the Ancelotti factor. And I keep saying this, if he can do this with more average players than not, that couldn't do it under Marco Silva, once he gets his own players in the summer, which is going to be a big window for us, can you imagine then where Everton could go? Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I always said, and I said this in all of my early videos in the car, if Everton want to get top 4, they've got to go and get a top 4 manager. There's no point fucking about, and they have. They've gone and got that manager. So you won't be surprised by the second this stat. Out of set pieces, we've scored 7 goals in the last 9 games, which is first in the Premier League. So not only is it showing we're creating them, not only is it showing we're putting them on people's head, it's actually showing that we're scoring them. And on top of that, in my opinion, we've got 2 of the best attacking headers of the ball in the game in the Premier League, because Richarlison is phenomenal in the air, and so is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. They're both strong in the air.
And also, if you look at Yerry Mina, I think Yerry Mina scored a 2 in one game, so even the defence are chipping in from dead ball situations. Now, you've just said we've scored from 7 in 9. I bet you there is one full season in the past where we've scored 7 goals from corners in one season. We've now done it in 9 games.
Yeah, exactly. And if you add that up over a season, and you add the other 2 games on or whatever, that actually works out to almost 30 goals we would get just from set pieces. And that, bearing in mind, we looked so devoid of goals at the start of the season. There's no getting around that. We were shots shy. We were winning the first game of the season. Well, we drew 0-0 at the start. Then we won a 1-0 game. We looked like we couldn't score goals the first 10 games of the season. So this is a massive improvement. And the other thing that is a little bit of the hindrance on that is the shots we've faced. And this is where Ancelotti's got his work cut out, in my opinion, the defence. Because although all of those stats are great, we're also pretty high on the shots we've faced on target, which is 31. So we've faced, on average, 4 shots per game, roughly, between 3.5, 4 shots a game, on target every game.
Yeah.
That needs to change.
I think that also, I know you've said about the defence, but that also comes from this midfielder that we know we need.
Yes.
Because we need a midfielder that can break up play, that can stop the supply line to the opposition's players, which will inadvertently bring that shot total that we face down. So it also comes to that ball-winning, tough tackling, box-to-box midfielder that we all know we need.
Yeah, I agree, and I think, look, there's no getting around the fact that Jordan Pickford has conceded some poor goals this season. But if we look at, and this is where people need to be positive, and can you believe it? I'm being positive here, John. You ready? Everton could potentially have 9 more points on VAR decisions. That puts us joint 3rd or 4th. We've had no penalties. And on top of that, we've had a goalkeeper that's made a few errors and cost us points. Where could Everton actually be after the 14 games Ferguson and Ancelotti have had in charge? Really? Everton could be well in the top 4. So everything, not just the fact that Ancelotti says not much has changed. Everything's changed. This Everton side, already coming towards the end of this season, is looking like a hell of a team for next season. And half of the players, if not more, are average.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is what I've said all along. Going back to what you've just said about Pickford there, look, I've said this many times. If the right offer comes in for Jordan Pickford, because it won't be a low offer because he's England's #1, so you will get money for him, let's be honest. What you've just said about shots we've faced, okay, that puts pressure on Pickford as well, because he's had a lot of shots to face. Now, I'm not, going back on what I've said about Jordan Pickford and the mistakes he's made, because some of the mistakes he's made, the Man U one, it went right through him. Doesn't matter if we faced 100 shots this season, he should be saving that. But, yeah, but then he pulls off the one-handed save from, I think it was Fernandez. It was Fernandez again, I think that was the other day. So, I went to something with Neville Southall the other week, and Neville hit the nail on the head, and I've said this to you privately. When Jordan Pickford has time to think about the save he's going to make, he struggles. When he hasn't got any time and it's point blank, he's a good shot stopper.
Yeah. Which
is then down to this midfielder that we need to bring in to stop the opposition having that opportunity to run at our defence and our goalkeeper, because he doesn't have to think as much then. So it breaks play up.
Yeah, you're spot on. And to be honest, you can dissect the back four. Like, obviously, we won't do it in this video, but we could dissect the back four. Like, for example, Sidibe. He's good going forward. He'll cross the ball, but he can't defend. He always leaves his man. People are going through behind him because he gives them far too much space. He doesn't close down. And as a result of all of those things, the ball comes across our box and we face shots. End of story. Like, that is that. Luca Dean hasn't had a great season this season, but he's been vastly improved when he's played recently. Leighton Baines has been good. Yuri Mina concerns me when he gets the ball. Michael Keane concerns me when he gets the ball. The defence needs a lot of work, and it's not a negative to any of them because I think Carlo can install that into them. But if somebody give me now £50 million, the first area I would look to strengthen is a right back and a centre back. That's it. That's it. John Joe Kenny for me. I don't think he's big enough for the Premier League. That's why he's doing great in Germany. And if they want to offer loads of money for him, they can. I'm fine. Go. But for me, right now, Everton are right back away from being a top four side.
Yeah, I think if you, as you say, you don't want to dissect the defence, but I think if you look at the defenders we've got out of them all, Mason Holgate's probably been our best defender this season. You know, the same player who went out on loan to West Brom. I think he played right back at West Brom, did he? Or did he, you know, now he's come into the centre half position, and he's probably been better than Yerry Mina and Michael Keane. So,
yeah,
you know, and this is Mason Holgate, who, you know, I think you also said on your previous videos, maybe last year, you didn't think he was good enough. You know,
it was hard with Mason because I did a video and I was looking for it. I did a video 2 years ago where I said I can, and I actually put money on it. I actually bet the camera, and I actually said Mason Holgate will be a better defender than John Stones.
Yeah, that was,
and that was when John Stones played for Everton. And I believe that fully, and I still do. I still, you know, but then he went off the boil. He got turned more. He then went on loan to West Brom, and I thought it's just another Brendan Galloway because he showed potential and turned into nothing. And I just thought it was the same as, you know, the other lad who went to Wigan, played left back and played really well under Martinez. Can't even remember his name now. The BAINES type player.
American.
No, well, the American's fantastic, but the other young lad we had, Luke Garbett. I just thought he was another one of them, and he's proved everyone wrong. And I'm so glad because I wanted it to be right. Now, the problem is with other players in our team, like Tom Davies, I haven't had that same feeling. Never had the he's going to be a top four player. But we know where we can strengthen. And actually, it's not bad to have someone with a bit of heart in the team or in and around the team. So even if Tom sits on the bench, it's not bad having an Evertonian in your side somewhere. And I'm glad he's there to a degree.
I think most teams you'll find have a player who supports them in their squad. And, you know, we've got a couple, you know, we've got Bainesy, we've got Tom, you know, we've got a couple. I think the thing with Mason Holgate, the big thing for me was the loan. He come back from that loan deal massively improved. And that loan deal for me has made Mason Holgate the player he is today, i.e. getting a new contract. I think that loan move worked wonders for Mason, wonders. So, you know, the loan system does work. Maybe Tom might go out on loan, I don't know. I just think with Tom, I think if he was going to improve, he would have done by now. I think what you get with Tom is what we're left. But that's it now with Tom. I can't see Tom going forward anymore. Unfortunately, I can't. You know, as you say, he's a blue. We love to see our own doing well. But just get the feeling with Tom, he won't step up anymore.
No. John, I think that's it, mate. I think that's it. Really appreciate you coming on when you said poorly, mate. Obviously, it's always good to, you know, for us to do stuff together. We've got massive plans potentially for the summer, mate. Massive, massive plans. Things on the horizon that I didn't think would be happening. So it's good to be excited.
It is something to look forward to, isn't it? And the plans that are in place hopefully will, put the channel even further on than what it is.
Yeah, scary shit.
And that's all we'll say about that at the minute. But hopefully, if the things that are in the pipeline come to fruition, it can only be good for the channel.
Yeah. John, love you. Have a good one. Enjoy your dinner to our fucking red cabbage. Fucking hell, Jesus.